And a very good morning to you. Good Saturday morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. It is Drive Time Radio. I'm New York Vinnie. Sorry we are running a little bit late, but our internet problems here at the new studio continue to persist. Trying to get them fixed. I'm hoping that we'll get them fixed by next week. Um, and for the big Mudfest event that is coming up, that I will be attending in just a couple of weeks. I'll tell you more about that later as we roll on. But we are here, and I am you, and you are me, and you are we, and we are all together, as the man once wrote. So here we are, you and me, and for the next little while, we're going to talk about cars. Probably have a shorter show today. Um, because to be honest with you, I'm just still getting back on my feet, and it is, you know, illness is one thing. When you get to a certain point in your life, illness becomes a lot more. So I'm trying to be here every week, holding the fort down, giving you the information that you need. As I've said before, you can always email me during the week. You can, I mean, I'm 24/7 during the week. And if you have a question about a car that you need answered, if you have a trivia question that you and your friends can't figure out, if you need to get in contact with me, Vinnie at drivetime-radio.com. Always works. That's Vinnie, Vinnie, at drivetime-radio.com is the one that always seems to work, always seems to get to me. And so again, and I'm not shy or bashful about answering questions for you. Consider me on this May 3rd, 2025, the answer to all of your questions about everything automotive or baseball. I mean, I'll throw baseball in there. Um, Consider me the answer to your questions. And if you have something you're trying to solve an argument, at least if I don't have the answer on me, I'll try to get it for you and keep the conversation going. So thank you for that. Thank you for listening to the show, and most of all, thank you for bearing with me during what's been an interesting transitional time in my life. I have, in the course of a month and change here, I have, moved from a place that I was in for a number of years into a smaller place. I don't know how it could have gotten any smaller than it was, but it is. I've had one of my best friends in the world take off and move to Florida. And, it's funny when you're older, you you realize how much of that support system that you need. And I have a wonderful daughter, and she's a great support system, and she is, but she's got her life, and I got mine. And dinners and everything like that is good. She's there, and I hope and respect that she feels the same about me. And I know this isn't on the topic of cars, but it is on the topic of life, and I do try to talk about life as well as cars, because both of them, yeah, you can't. If you're dead, you can't drive a car down the street. Well, again, there I go shooting off my mountain. I don't know. There might be some jurisdictions where it's perfectly all right to drive a car down the street. If you're dead, as a matter of fact, they prefer it. So, anyway, to recap here, we will be on, and I'm pretty sure that we will be continuing the show at this time, 11 o'clock on Saturday morning, West Coast time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, East Coast time, for all of you listeners that are out there in Pittsburgh. And we do have quite a large audience in Pittsburgh as well. Uh, Among some really, really wonderful people that that I made friends with and know and have come to uh, love the city of Pittsburgh and love, excuse me, the just the whole gist of most of the people of the city of Pittsburgh. It's a great city. I enjoyed my 10 years that I spent there and hope to get back there real soon for a visit and to hang out, do a couple of shows live from there, and see some old friends. So, That's what's going on this end. What's going on with you this morning? You can always use the chat if you're listening live on a computer. I keep an eye on that chat most of the time. Sometimes it gets away from me. Like we had a good friend yesterday when we were talking to Mikey. We're doing a Mikey and Vinnie show. We had a chat yesterday among a person I haven't seen in years, but have kept in distant contact with. And that person, my friend, happened to be listening to the show, and it was a great surprise to see that Tom Yates was checking out Michael and I. Tom is one of the pioneers of the rock and roll radio business. Employed us both back in the 80s at one of the most spectacular stations I'd ever worked at, music stations. This was KKCY 98.9 FM, The City in San Francisco. And this was an assemblage. This was a college. This was an education of people, of going to where you go to work every day, and you never left that building not learning something about the radio business. You never left that building without knowing more than you did when you came in that day. And that's what I try to do with this show. I try to give you something that you didn't know when we started the show, that when we finished the show, that you now know, that you're smarter. Maybe you're the smartest guy in the room, the smartest woman in the room. I don't know. But I do know that the goal of the show is to increase your knowledge. And that's what we will try to do here this afternoon. We got a Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week coming up? We will certainly do that. The experiment is on. Oh, reminds me of that old, what is that? Was it Jack Jones? And the race is on, and here comes Pride up the backstretch. Anyway, the cameras are rolling on I-5. If you're going up near the Tulip Festival, be careful, because they are rolling cameras. And if you are a speed violator, or you're a unsafe change violator, I think it's mostly speeding, though. They are testing out this system. They're not writing tickets at the moment. They're sending you pretty little warnings in an envelope. And if you go buzzing through there too fast, they're going to get you. And I don't know how long this experiment is going to last. But if it works out and they see that they can increase the volume of cash in the traffic fine coffers, believe you me, they're going to keep it going. The state needs money. These jurisdictions need money. And the money well is drying up in many places, so they're going to have to come up with it somewhere. So they figure that they'll be able to make up some shortfalls in people that speed through that section of I-5. Not to mention the fact that, as we have talked about on this show before, the deaths by collisions involving speed, and I think that's 5 miles an hour or more over the speed limit, have gone up significantly since COVID. Significantly. More people are dying on our roads now than at any time in the last 10-year period. And the numbers year to year are going up and going up. And it's something that I think we're starting to get a grip on, or a grasp on, or a hold on the cost of it, not just in human in damage and in death and automotive damage, but in the psychological toll that it takes on so many different people. When there is an accident, when somebody gets smashed at 80 miles an hour, let's say, and you're a responding officer and you got to see that has a an effect on you. I mean, I've told stories many times about being a tow truck driver in my younger years, and in New York City, and going to see accidents where people's limbs were ripped off, where people's were crushed, were smashed, were kid. I mean, I don't want to go through the whole plethora of it, but it had an effect on you. Now you stuffed it because you didn't want to seem like you were a man, and but you stuffed it and you went on and you did it. But let me tell you something: hooking up a car where somebody's hair is hanging in the windshield from where their skull went through it is going to leave an impression on you. Whether whether you're 6, you're 16, you're 60, no matter what the age is, that's going to leave an impression on you. And so the state is trying to do something about it. When you add that into the street racing stuff that's going on, it's they're trying to do that. And I know it's easy to say, well, they just want to get more money. And certainly, whenever you get a situation where the cops, the judges, the administratives are all trying to bolster up the coffers a little bit. Yeah, I always think money is going to be a factor in it. But I do think that there are people out there that are genuinely concerned with stopping that phone call or stopping that thing where an officer has to go to somebody's house and tell somebody's mother or father that your kid, got blasted at 110 miles an hour up on I-5 or on Highway 99, and they didn't make it. Can you go to the hospital and identify the body? So, but I think that if they could perfect this system, that this is a system. Speeding, I don't think I'll see it in my lifetime. But I think if you are a new driver, if you are an 18, 19, 20-year-old driver, that you will see the ability to speed, to go as fast as you can get your car to go on a public highway, eliminated. I think it's going to come to a point where we're going to value the life of an individual more than somebody getting someplace quicker or somebody's perceived freedom to speed. And yeah, there's nutcases that if you talk to, well, that's my right to speed. So I don't want to get on the big soapbox here and everything, but I do think it is interesting that you see this this curve. Yet Detroit and other, not just Detroit, but cities, countries still seem to be hell-bent on producing cars that are judged on speed, that are judged on how fast that car will go. Because one of the great things about America is we have these wide open spaces out west, and you can get in your car and speed away out that whatever that road is, where and listen, I'm just as guilty of it as everybody else. I've gone out into the desert and out into eastern Washington, into places where there's no cars coming, for miles, and jumped on the car and made it go fast and made the chassis flex and everything. I mean, there's something about, especially in men, I think there's a primal thing that goes on. It's the same thing that makes people want to run faster than each other. So, that's it's just something to think about. And I think in the time that you are alive, if you're a new driver, you will see serious restrictions on speed. You will see more and more and more the idea that speed is causing more harm than good. And it'll be a combination of people who believe that speed is unsafe. It'll be a combination of people who believe that speed kills. It'll be a number of people who believe that speed causes a drain on our natural resources. It'll come at you from all angles. And hopefully, we'll be able to figure out a system, and I don't hold a lot of hope out for this, a system where you who like the speed, who want to feel that thrill of speed, and yes, there's a certain adrenaline rush, there's a certain thrill that comes from driving fast. I, I think that, and I hope that you will be somehow accommodated. That there will be racetracks allowed to exist. That there will be um, places where you can go and take your car and drive it as fast as you would like after it passes a safety inspection, and you'll be able to do that. And so, at least in some sense, in some respect, everybody will be able to get what they want. The roads will be safer, and the facilities that are set aside for speed will be utilized and regulated in a manner that prescribes safety, that makes it the safest environment possible for people that want to participate in that or people that want to spectate that. I don't think racetracks are going to go away. I don't think the NHRA or NASCAR or any of these sports where we watch cars compete against each other are going to go away. And I don't think that, the back road races, boom, boom, from town to town, I don't think they're going to go away altogether either. But you can't continue to have these accidents, well, I shouldn't call them accidents, crashes, these events that take place where people are being ripped out of a car by sheer force. I saw an accident yesterday. Well, again, I hate to use that word accident because it wasn't an accident. But I have this application app on my phone that if a chase starts to happen, especially in Southern California, bing, 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 your phone goes off and you can look at. There's a chase yesterday. They're chasing this guy on, I think it was I-205 in Pasadena, live television. And the helicopter and the news chopper and everybody are following this guy. And he's doing about 120 on a Friday afternoon at 2:30, 3 o'clock up the freeway, and he clips the back of a dump truck, and the car he's driving, I think it was a Honda, opened up like a can opener. And so there you are watching on live TV as this guy's body is hanging out of the side of the car. And he's, immediately ejected from the car, but again, not ejected completely. So anyway, I don't want to get into too much detail, but anyway, it was such a graphic example of what happens in a collision like this with speed. And the anchors and everybody, they're arguing, well, should we show it? Should we not show it? We don't want to. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? You should show it. You should show it to everybody who goes to get a driver's license. And show it to, this is what the car is capable of doing. It's capable of getting you from point A to point B comfortably and so on and so, but it's also capable of ripping you out of your car and shredding your body into pieces. And that's the lesson to be learned. If there's any lesson to be learned out of somebody who is, in that situation where they're being chased by somebody. And now this guy, fortunately, hurt himself. He didn't hurt anybody else. But you know what he did? He hurt the highway patrol officers that had to follow him. He hurt the people who had to come up on that scene and cover his body up. He hurt the people that were trying to save his life because they didn't know if he was dead or alive. He hurt all of those people. He hurt probably half the people that he passed at 110 miles an hour on the freeway at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If you see something like that, it leaves an indelible scar on your on your mind. It definitely plays. I don't know. Does it make you drive any faster, any slower, any more cautiously? I would say that probably some people it does, some people it doesn't. I hope that it would make everybody drive a little bit more cautiously, but especially with young people, you there's a lot of people who believe that they're invulnerable, that it couldn't happen to them. You know what? I'm in my earlier days was one of them. Couldn't happen to me. I know what I'm doing. I know how to do this. I know how to avoid that until I got racked up. So anyway, you know what? I'm rambling on about this a little bit too much, but I think it's important, and I think it's important for people to know about this, and we'll talk about it more as time goes on. I'm sure, because I don't think the collisions out there are going to stop anytime soon. All right, one of the things that I wanted to get in here this morning was I wanted to talk about a new car reveal that happened last week. I believe it was in Southern California, and where it happened is not the point here. I think the point is what was revealed. And if you know me and a little bit about me, you know that I'm a fan of pickup trucks. I like pickup trucks. I think the big goofy pickup trucks that we put out there these days are kind of stupid for a lot of people. Most of the people that like a pickup truck, that want to own a pickup truck, don't need a pickup truck. You don't need a $100,000 high off the ground. You can't see anybody. You climb up in it, and you got to show off your butt crack to see to get in the truck. People don't need that. Now, again, maybe you want it, and that's what this country is all about, right? Maybe I don't need it, but I want it. And of course, we are outrageously committed to buying things that we don't need. It's why we're in some of the trouble that we're in these days. But I'm not going to give lessons on what you need and what you don't need. I think one of the big things that this country has been missing for a long time is an affordable small pickup truck. Remember if you go back and you think about in the 70s and the 80s, used to have those little Nissan pickup trucks, and the little Toyotas, and they really were Toyota cars on chat built like pickup trucks. Had the same engines and stuff like that, and they were good, solid, reliable transportation at a good price. It also was a truck that you could fit a bunch of stuff in, so that if you had to go to Home Depot to get stuff, they were great reliable, good second cars, especially if you owned a house and you needed to keep stuff. Anyway, that concept of the pickup truck has morphed into this thing where now it's the bigger the better, and we're uniquely American, and it's a uniquely American truck, and we're not like those Europe pansies. We have truck here, and it's mucho macho, and the bigger the truck you have, the more macho you are. It's almost as if they're equating pickup truck size, the size of your truck, to your penis. That if you have a big truck, you must be more of a manly man, and so much so that they got the Japanese involved in it, and the Japanese took some of that formula of machismo and they put it in the trucks, and the trucks kept getting bigger, and now you walk onto a lot and you go to buy a Toyota Tundra with with a few things on it, and you're looking at 100 grand, 80 grand. I think that's crazy. So along comes this company, and they say, hold on a minute, hold everything. We are going to build a pickup truck that is going to be what a pickup truck used to be. And if you're old enough like me to remember when you would go to a dealer and buy a pickup truck, a small pickup truck, that many pickup trucks were stripped down models. Most pickup trucks were stripped down models. Most pickup trucks didn't have air conditioning, didn't have power steering, a lot of them had power brakes because of the loads. But it was a truck. It was a basic vehicle. And you went in the showroom, you usually had to order one. They didn't have them just sitting there, especially if you were in a urban environment. Now, if you were in the country, if you went down to one of the dealers down in Earnhardt Ford in Tucson and Phoenix and Cal Worthington and those places, they had a lot full of them. From New York, if we wanted a pickup truck, we used to drive out to Langhorne, Pennsylvania, Reedman Chevrolet, or the Reedman Auto Group, but they were mostly Chevrolets, and they had every kind of pickup in every color, every configuration that you wanted it in. From what was then considered a luxury pickup truck to a bare stripped down, 3 on the tree, no radio, no nothing, just getting it and driving kind of pickup truck. And somewhere along the line, it just got crazy. So I, for years, have been advocating that we need to get back to basics. We need to get back to trucks, to pickup trucks that a family, and Ford kind of got this a lot with the Maverick, but that a family can go and buy it and enjoy it and use it for stuff around the house, use it to go up to the cabin, use it to do some things in that they would do, and it can still be a work truck for dad. It can still be a garden run to the garden store truck for mom. It still could be that vehicle, that accessory, and it would come in at somewhere under 30 grand new. So that it was affordable for most families. Also, a truck that would be durable, a truck that could be affordable for food delivery people, people that deliver stuff, people that do gig work, that $30,000 wouldn't kill you. That you could buy that truck and wind up going into a little delivery business and making money. So anyway, Slate, this auto group, there's a bunch of people got together and said, we can build that truck. We can get together and put that truck together and sell it because we believe that people don't need all the crap that people get on pickup trucks. That it should be that if you go to buy a pickup truck like the old days, like the 70s, my God, the 70s are the old days, but like the old days, if you want equipment on your pickup truck, if you need trailer brakes, if you need this, if you need that, if you need a custom interior, if you need a sunroof, if you need that, you can get it. But if you don't need it, you don't have to get it. You don't have to buy a $10,000 package or this. You can take a list and go, boom, boom, boom. This is what I want on the truck. This is what I believe, I need. And maybe you can get that truck to come in at under $30,000 or around $30,000. And that's an affordable payment these days. I mean, there's people out there making $1,500 a month truck payments. So Slate comes along and says, we're going to do that. We're going to give you a truck that you want, whatever color you want. Well, you can pay $295 extra. You can get it wrapped in whatever color you want to do. The kids are wrapping the trucks these days. We can do the same thing. You want custom wheels on the truck? You can get them. You want a version of a truck that has a roof over the bed? We can do that for you. You want all of these different options that come on this truck, and we can get them for you. We can get them under warranty, and we can get them from the factory. That you can walk in to either a dealership or you can walk in and order this truck basically the way you want it. And that truck will come to the dealer 6 weeks after you order it or whatever. Be ready to roll off the showroom floor, off the lot, with exactly the options that you want. So if you are a business that is just starting up and you need a pickup truck, instead of going out and spending $40,000 on a used truck, here you are, you can go and you can buy yourself a new truck. May not be fancy, but let's face it, all you need on the side of the truck is your name and your address, right? May not be show-offy, but it will get your tools from point A to point B. It will get you from point A to point B. It will be a truck that is reliable. It has an engine and brakes and a motor and and all the stuff that you need. Well, it has a means of conveyance because the Slate is going to be an electric truck. And so they put this truck out there, and I think for what I've seen from it now, it's been the the buzz of the industry this week. I mean, it actually knocked tariffs off of the front page in industry news. So I think it's great. I think anything that could knock tariffs off the front, off the front page, the front of the front headline in your internet stories. Anything that could do that in my book was a winner. But here we are. And again, I think that I think this truck is going to be a huge success. Electric and basic. I think it's the truck America needs. And to be honest with you, the truck that not many manufacturers had the nerve to put out. Now, I don't know where the whole EV thing is gonna wind up. Be honest with you, I don't know. It seems to change every minute. I don't think it's going to go away though. I don't think that the EV, uh, portion of our automotive landscape is going anywhere anytime soon. I think it's going to be here. And I think it's only going to get bigger. I'm a fan of EVs. You know that if you've listened to this show, that, the EV, I think, is here to stay. I think it's only going to improve. It's only going to get better. And it's going to improve. The range is going to get better. The mechanics is going to get better. It's all going to get it's all going to, I think, get better. And at some point, I think that we're already seeing it now. This is the truck. This is the basic. I think this is probably your $27,000 version of the slate. Uh, but I think that this truck, now again, lots of options on this thing, lots of ability to change things. They were talking about, and I haven't seen the truck in person, but they were talking about being able to pull a roof out and then change it into a four-seated SUV type machine, have covering for the bed. But again, if you want it in pink, you can order a wrap for it. It'll be in pink, it'll be in blue, be whatever color you want it to be in. If you want air conditioning, if you want different options on it, then you'll be able to order them. You'll be able to get them. You'll be able to get them afterwards. Let's say you buy this car and you're up here in the Northwest and you don't need air conditioning, but then all of a sudden you're going to move to Tucson, where you would need air conditioning, where air conditioning would come in as quite a good thing to have. Well, then all of a sudden, now you can, from what I understand, and again, I think things are a little fluid with this, but I think all of a sudden you can go to either the Slate website or somewhere and be able to order some of those accessories post sale. A lot of them can be installed on a vehicle afterwards. They also say that they want to make this vehicle so it can be a DIY vehicle so that you can do a lot of the repairs on this vehicle. Don't forget, I mean, we're talking about an electric car here. We're talking about battery, wires, wheels. I mean, nothing that's, you're not looking at an internal combustion engine or so on and so forth. A lot of the parts on this thing are going to be, take one out, put one in. Looks suspiciously like, I know you said it when you saw it, this is the version that I guess the roof pulls out, so on and so forth, and you can put this roof on it and make it into a four-seater. But it looks like, again, I might be wrong here, but it's a lot of international scout in this thing. A lot of Ford Bronco in this thing. And if I'm working at international, if I'm working at Scout right now, I'm probably saying to somebody in the office, "Oh, why didn't we think of this?" I mean, here we are. We're Scout. We got the name. Yeah, we're Volkswagen, but we're shooting this thing at an audience where we want to sell a lot of them. They're shooting it at that same audience. It seems like they're talking a crazy amount of vehicles the first year, and they seem to feel that that's easily attainable. That maybe they can sell, I don't know, 500,000 vehicles. Who knows? But this is what they're looking at. Again, it's not ugly. It's not so radical that people would go, "Oh my God, I don't want to. I certainly don't want to." Um, people are going to look at me weird if I drive this thing down the block. No, I don't think so at all. I think that you're probably in a really good place with one of these things. This is one of the things I really liked about this is the interior. You get to an interior today of a vehicle, and I mean, it's like you're in a video game or a computer. It's ridiculous on the amount of things that you have to learn, that you have to familiarize yourself. And is it really much more convenient? Is it more convenient to have a switch on the dashboard that you have to go through three programs on this huge screen, Jagunda screen on the dashboard to get to your heater to turn on the heat? Or is it easier to have a button on the dashboard that says heat and a slide that says, to 80 degrees or to 70 degrees or to 60 degrees to whatever you need? Back to basics. This is the interior of this vehicle. Take a look at this thing. No big video screen. Is it now? From what I've seen, what I believe, your cell phone sits in the dashboard, and you can control your nav system and your music through your cell phone, which you can in many cars these days, right? Isn't that Apple Car and um, the different operating systems that work out of your cell phone? The two big ones, Android and Apple. I mean, you put them in, you put your phone in a wire it in, or you put it on a pad on your dashboard or on your console, and boom, there it is. Well, this has that same concept. Back to basics. I mean, it reminds me again. I go back to International because they made great trucks that didn't have a lot on them. And I remember my dad had a '53 International pickup truck. The air conditioning were wing windows and a vent in the middle of the cowl that you pushed down, and it forced air into the cowl. That was the air conditioning. The vent windows brought in air from the side. Now, it was never hot in that truck, no matter how hot it was outside. See, we've tricked ourselves as Americans to believing that we have to have all of this stuff in our cars. And I agree with a lot of the safety stuff. I mean, I think we should have, brakes that can tell you when you're going to get into an accident, or a car that can tell you when you're going to get into an accident. I think we should have stuff that corrects you when you're going off the road, or things that sound warnings when you don't have your seatbelt on, or something like that. But this whole idea of again, the car has to turn on when we sit our butts in the seats. While very nice and very luxurious, it's almost ridiculous. And I mean, I drove a car 2 weeks ago, uh, uh, the Audi Quattro, That was a wonderful car. I love this car. The e-tron, the Q4, I think it was, e-tron. And what a beautiful car it was. But the car turned on and off when I sat in the seat. But you never really knew if it was turning on or off when you sat in the seat. And if you had a butt like mine, that's a large butt, and you sat in the seat, you didn't know if you would turn the car on, turn it off. I just wanted a button or a key or something. You hit it, it turns on, and you hit it, it turns off. I don't want a package of stuff that automatically does this and automatically does that. Now, do I want a car that will turn on and off when I turn the key? Yes, very important. Do I want a map in the car that will show me where I'm going and give me good information about where I'm going? Yes. But a lot of the stuff that's in there, I don't need, but I got to pay for it. With Slate, the great piece about this whole concept is if you don't need it, you don't have to pay for it. That you're going to be able to buy it and order it and have it delivered to your house or wherever you're going to pick the car up without the stuff you need. But if you make a mistake and you say to yourself, geez, I should have ordered X, Y, or Z, there's going to be, I think, a number of options that you'll be able to buy after you take delivery of the car. So if you go back and you want that 40-inch screen on your dashboard, and you want, a different color upholstery or something like that, you're going to be able to do that, or at least in theory. And you know what I like the most about this car? Look on this picture I'm showing you right now. It has crank windows. Crank windows. I have to tell you that one of the most ridiculous things that I think are in American cars these days are power windows. While they are convenient, while they are, on some days a beautiful thing to have, 350 days out of the year, you can do just as quickly with your crank windows as you can do with your power windows. You can make that window go up and down just as quickly. And it's always been something of mine, a gripe of mine, that they took that option away from us. And it was easier for them to just put the power windows in the car and charge you for it. And this one comes with, and I don't even know if there's an option for power windows. But when a crank window goes out, when it doesn't work anymore, it's $100 to fix it. I'm sure now it's more, but that was the kind of the range it was in. Even if you had to go get a new regulator for the window, which is the gear, the piece that goes onto the crank that moves the window up and down. If you did that, it was $100. And you know what? If you had a little bit of mechanical ability, you could do it in your driveway. You could replace it in your driveway. Now you have a power window motor, and you have the switch, and you have this, you have that, and is it going to work? Did they do the right job? Half the time you go to the mechanics thing, and a mechanic left the screw out, and this, that, the other thing, and you're back there 4 or 5 times, and you've probably gotten wet if you live up here in Seattle once or twice because it was raining. And that's what stopped the window from going up to begin with. Here you got to crank. If it's raining, you crank it 3 times this way, the window goes up. Have we become such a lame, entitled society that we can't crank a freaking window up or down? Is that really what we've become? So I don't know. I like this vehicle. I think I'm nothing but enthusiastic about this vehicle. It's the vehicle that I have waited for. And by the way, all of these pictures that I'm showing you today come from Car and Driver magazine. Sean Rice seems to be the person that shot them, and because I didn't get an invite to the slate preview, so I couldn't shoot them myself. I had to borrow them from somebody. So thank you, Car and Driver. If you want good stats on vehicles, if you're thinking of buying a vehicle, one of the places that you can always go, in a magazine that I've read since since I could read, is Car and Driver. So if you get a chance to, and you want to learn more about Slate and other vehicles too, go check out caranddriver.com. They'll give you some good info, and it's always a good spot to take a look at cars. But again, this is the vehicle that I've waited for, and I wish them success. I am going to be Slate's biggest fan because I don't think any. No, let me take that back. I don't think 75% of the people that buy pickup trucks in America today, especially if you live in the city, if you live in an urban zip code, I don't think that anybody that lives in an urban zip code needs more truck than what you're seeing on your screen right there. I'd be shocked if you do. I would be absolutely shocked if you need more truck than you're looking at right now. If you have to haul tools, if you have whatever you got to haul, whatever you got to take to where you're taking it, I just don't think you would need more than what you see there. And I'm sure that people are going to send me. I mean, I see a bunch of emails already and stuff from people who have sent in and saying that this will never work. Of course, that's our way. That's the way we look at things these days in this country. Unfortunately, we look at why it won't work instead of why it will. And who knows? This thing may be bluey. This thing may be, they may put a Preston Tucker on these people, or a Bricklin, or a DeLorean, or any number of people who have been eliminated by the automotive business because the idea they had was too good. The idea they had was, they came up with it, and it was like they knew that it would screw up the established automotive business. So they said, well, you know what? We can't really let you do that. We like it. We think it's a good idea. But the reality is, pal, we can't really let you do that. It's going to be a problem. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how this works out. Like I say, I got a feeling that it's going to. I got a feeling it's going to work out just fine. I'm enthusiastic about these people. I am really hoping that we get a chance to drive one of these. I guess it's scheduled to come out in 2027, but you can go to their website right now. And by the way, they're going to build it in Indiana. This way, my friend Keith will be very happy. It's going to be built in Indiana, in America. I don't know. I don't know exactly what what that is going to mean as far as jobs and so on and so forth. I would have to think that it will mean a lot for people who want to go to work in places like Indiana. They're going to need something in Indiana because as we are finding out, the RV business is starting to take a dive, which is largely based in Indiana. And that section of Indiana that's a section of Michigan that's right by Indiana as you go along the interstate out there. And places like South Bend and Sturgis, Indiana, and places that are all along that Sturgis, Michigan, I should say, all in that line that goes along. What is it, Route 70? That goes out from Ohio, but that whole section of Indiana is like RV, the pulse of the RV business, and the RV business is not good right now, and I don't expect it to be to get much better for them in the immediate. So I think that if you are, if you are somebody who is working in the RV business, that you probably at this point are going to need to start thinking about other work. And so Slate may come along at a perfect time for you because as we keep seeing for these um, different car companies and so on and so forth, I don't know how many people are going to be able to afford, at least in the immediacy, how many people are going to be able to afford these $100,000 cars and RVs. I think that the taste for that is going to go away quickly. And you're going to need something to fill that gap with people. All right, let's quickly hit Yo Vinnie. What are you driving this week? We want to make sure that we get that in here this beautiful week. But we do have we are driving something. I think that I've become. Listen, I'm a big fan of the minivan. I'm a guy that thinks that the minivan is one of the best inventions ever in cars. I don't mock them. I don't make fun of them. They are a cultural statement, and they are much, much more. They are one of the best people movers, family cars ever invented. And Toyota has, I think, done a lot to perfect the minivan, to give you all of the stuff that you expect from a Toyota, which is a solid car, reliability, affordability, uh, technological advancement. It's a name that you have come to be able to trust in cars. It's that simple. And Toyota is out with their minivan, which has been around for a long time, except that this one, the Sienna, is a plug-in hybrid with all-wheel drive and is comfortable and is a people mover and is refined. It really truly is one of the most refined. I mean, I'll put this one, and I'm a big fan of the Chrysler, and I put those two right at the top of my list with the Kia right behind it. I mean, a Kia Carnival we drove a couple of weeks ago. Hard to find anything wrong with that, but it's one of those automotive segments that, for whatever reason, carries a stigma, almost to the point where I was at a reveal once where a manufacturer would not call it a minivan. They wanted to go with people mover. There was such a stigma around minivan, they felt. that they want. No. It's not a minivan. It's a people mover. So this week I am driving the plug-in hybrid Sienna, Toyota. And this is, as I said, this is a spectacular looking vehicle. It has the Toyota look to it, the Toyota style to it, which as you walk around the vehicle, and we're not going to give you a whole thing. We'll do that for our review. But the Sienna from the outside is a very, very eye-pleasing vehicle. Yeah, they all look alike to a certain degree, but I like that Toyota has worked in some nice lines along the side. I like that Toyota has worked in some architecture in the back so that it looks a little bit distinct from everything else that's out there. And I like the fact that they've identified it with the plug-in hybrid. I like the fact that they have identified it with the four-wheel drive, and that it is a vehicle that, when you look at it, you get a sense of a vehicle that is what I don't know what I put this. It's what you want, but it's kind of different for what you want. It's kind of it brings what you want in a minivan to the table, which means that there is space, there is comfort, there is connection to the outside world by way of different elements that your kids can enjoy when they're driving, passengers can enjoy. It has safety galore, and it has room for people. People don't feel crushed in these things. Really, again, I thought that it was. I thought it was a great vehicle. I thought, so far in driving this, I've only had it a couple of days, so I mean, the jury is still kind of out on these things. Boy, I tell you, all of a sudden you're out there, and it's fire trucks going by and everything. Only happens to me when I'm out there driving. Anyway, but it is a vehicle that Toyota is well thought out. They've been either the leader or close to being the leader in this territory for a long time. The competition is tight in this because there's only a few vehicles. And, the future of the minivan, I think, is going to be tilted much more toward the Volkswagen ID Buzz, which was my car of the year last year. But for the people who are scared off a little bit by the ID Buzz, I think that this one is one that people are going to look at and say, "Is this the way I want to go?" And I don't think that they'll have much of a problem, digesting this thing. Just to take a quick look at the inside of it, if we can get that up. But this was just a look at the inside of the Toyota Sienna front seats, and again, well equipped, big screens, lets you know all of the information right up there, and it has the redundant switches so that if you're one of those people who don't want to spend 10 minutes going through a menu on a screen, you can just say, okay, I want it to be 85 degrees in here, or I want it to be this, or I want it to be that. And you've got it. There it is. Boom, 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 right in front of you. So we'll do a deeper dive. Like I said, I really haven't had a chance to drive it much over the past couple of days I've had it, but we're going to take it on. We're going to take it up to the Joe this weekend and give it a nice ride and put it through its paces and see exactly what this vehicle, from Toyota, has to offer. I think, I'm pretty sure, and I want to check before I say it, but I think we're in the, I want to say like the mid 50s on this thing. I'm almost positive that that is the number, the sticker price on it. But you know what? I always want to make sure um, of what it is. So let's quickly look at the Monroney, see exactly what it is, and we are a little bit more, 59,869. All right. Well, you got and that includes destination. That includes the hybrid stuff, and the digital rear view mirror, and the connected services stuff that goes in there. But again, this is the PLT all-wheel drive, 7-passenger Toyota Sienna. Um, gets a great rate, crash ratings and stuff from the Insurance Institute. And I don't know, I don't even know if the feds are still in business, the Highway Safety Administration, the way things are going. But definitely I felt worth looking at if you are shopping or if you're in the market. And as I say now, get in, if you're thinking new, get in the market, because and we're going to dive a little more into this next week with these tariffs and what's going to happen and how they're going to kick in. But I don't have a good feeling about a lot of vehicles right now. If you want a Japanese vehicle, if you want a Korean vehicle, if you want a vehicle from a country that's going to have quite a tariff on it projected, you might as well make your move here pretty soon, because I got a funny feeling that by the time June rolls around, it's not going to be a pretty picture. And used cars are going to shoot up as well, because, again, we're going to have a pandemic type situation where people are going to be looking for good used cars because they can't afford new ones, or there's a limited supply of new ones. This is going to be, folks, I'm telling you right now, I'm not telling you to scare you. I'm telling you to be real with you. This is going to be crazy for the next year or two in the automotive business, after coming off a couple of years that were just crazy. I don't know how much they think that the automotive consumer can take, but I think people are going to, there's one thing that's going to happen, I think, from all of this, and that is that people who are already wary of going into a dealer and sitting there and negotiating to buy a car are going to be drawn into the companies that are going to enable you to buy a car online. You are going to want to buy a car online. By the time this is all over, you're going to want to go somewhere, test drive it. You like it, you want to it's going to be like McDonald's. You want a quarter pounder and fries and a Coke. You want to go up to the kiosk. You don't want to deal with people anymore. And that's a sad commentary on our country. But I think that's coming around the cause. People don't want to be locked in that room, that hot room anymore. They don't want to be given 25 options for financing. They want to go in, they want to check off the boxes on the internet list, and they want to put the list in, and they want the car to show up at their house. That's America in 2025. And the manufacturers and the people that can adjust to this and deal with it are going to be the winners. And the people that can't are going to be the losers. And as we all know in this world, folks, there's winners and there's losers. Just ask Tom Petty. And that's how it goes. Right. One quick note for our friends at Shoreline Cars and Coffee. I'm sure that you have known this. And I didn't mention it because uh, we have had some interesting an interesting couple of weeks here. But let me quickly Shoreline Cars and Coffee, which is one of my favorite places and one of my favorite people to hang out with on a Saturday morning. I meant to get down there this morning, but it didn't happen. But in case you don't know it, they have moved. And so Shoreline Cars and Coffee is no longer up in the Town and Country um, parking lot, the Chinese restaurant parking lot up there. They have moved. They are now every Saturday from 7:30 to 10:30 behind the Aurora Borealis nightclub, which is at 16708 Aurora Avenue in Shoreline. Shoreline Cars and Coffee every Saturday, 7:30 to 10:30 at 16708 Aurora Avenue, right behind the Aurora Borealis Club. That is where you want to go on Saturday morning to hang out with Ryan and the gang. Uh, I will be up there. I'm going to try to get up there for next week. I don't know for sure yet, but I'm going to try to be up there next week and just get get up there. Anyway, we'll have more information about when it's going to happen. I really want to try to broadcast live up there and do that. But if you're looking for a place to take your kid, if you're looking for a place to take somebody who's interested in collector cars, if you're looking for a place just to hang out with a bunch of people that are friendly and like to drink coffee and like to get some fresh air and like to walk around and compliment each other's cars, then you can do no better for yourself than going up to Shoreline Cars and Coffee. Very simple. All right. Uh, this show is brought to you by my good friend, and really, there's no better friend you could have in the world than George Jackson. And what George does is he supplies business items, business promotional items to people all over the country. George is based out of Pittsburgh, and George Jackson Promotions for, I don't know, he's been doing this for 40 or 50 years, as far as I know, is the guy you want to see if you need business promotional items for your business, for your upcoming party, for your sports department, for whatever you need imprinted and special events type of tchotchkes, for what they call them, tchotchkes. But you know what I'm talking about. Whether they're stickers, whether they're T-shirts, whether they're promotional items, my friend George is the best at it. The best price, the best dude to deal with, uh, the best guy who says, well, this will work for you better for that than that. He's just a good guy. He's a dear friend. And I like to do anything I can any day of the week to promote his business. Because he's a solid guy. And these days it's so tough to find people to deal with that are solid people. You know, you deal with some of these people, like you call up and say, where's my keychains? They're supposed to be here on Monday. My event is tomorrow, and I haven't seen them. And they go, well, you know, the computer and this and that. No, George is throwing his stuff in your stuff in the back of the car if you don't get it, driving it there, doing whatever he's got to do to make sure that if you give somebody your word that you're going to have something, that you're going to have it and you're going to be able to do it. That's George. And that's why you should go to gjpromo.com and look at his catalog of stuff that can be purchased. And then talk to George about deals he has on different things, clearance items, and different suggestions that he may have for you for items that will promote your business. And again, just a great guy, a prince of a guy to do business with. And a prince of a guy just to talk to and get to know. George is a good guy. And I don't do that. I don't use that term lightly. George is a good guy. You'll enjoy doing business with him. Tell him I sent you. And again, gjpromo.com is where you can find his website. You can also go to George Jackson Promotions on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll find his website there and get in contact with him. He is a guy that will you'll believe me, you will email me or you will call me up and you will say thank you for turning me on to this dude, Vinny, because he did me right. Oh, look at that. I had the thing down because I was looking at something. All right. All right. You're getting goofy, Vinny. Get out of here. All right. Thank you so much for listening to our show. I will catch up with you Monday morning with Michael Knight at 10:10 for Mikey and Vinny Take on the World. And see you next week here on Drivetime Radio with your friend New York Vinny. Thank you so much for listening. We thank everybody who, again, participated in the show, sent emails. Vinnie, Vinnie, at drivetime-radio.com is our number. And we'll see you next Saturday morning at 11, if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Have a good and safe weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.